take like 50% off of it, right? Those can be tilting to even the best of players. And I think if that happens, then I think we're going to start to see Sola with an advantage. But going here early to Final Destination, what do you think this stage pick is, you know?
I think this is an amazing stage for Peach, but I also know that Sola doesn't care. Because Sola, the way that Sola wants to play, it doesn't matter if it's Town and City or Pokemon Stadium, he largely plays them the same way. Very much on the floor, whole menu, play around these spells, have access to your full range, and no platforms to avoid heroes' slow but massive aerials. Jukain on the... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, beautiful parry into that down tilt, finds a combo into the reversal corner situation, and he's just managed to not only get a full amount of percent, but backs up the bounce as well, finds the F smash, gets a crit, and suddenly that's just Jukain's stock gone just like that off of a parry down tilt. That's crazy. Hero's not supposed to be the one with the advantage state here. Peach is.
Yeah, if you're able to actually find a hit, and that's the hard part when you're Peach going up against a massive disjoint or a character that can spontaneously be as fast as Sonic or throw out massive projectiles that cover large horizontal space, it prevents Peach from doing that pseudo ground game that makes her so good. The ability to have aerials at floor level doing full damage is insane. But Hero can cover that space so well. Forward tilt, snooze, sizzle, sizz, like, bang. The side B Zapple, like all of these do one thing and one thing very well. It forces your opponent to get creative, to jump or to shield. And Peach doesn't want to do either, committing all the way into the air with a full hop or not using float. You're playing with one arm tied behind your back.
No, absolutely. Doing an amazing job finding that stock off a back air. And you mentioned that float cancel, right? Low to the ground float back airs do full damage. And for those of you at home who might not know, that's because short hop aerials in Ultimate, in part because of the short hop buffer that they added, have a modifier. They actually do less damage full hop aerials normally would. The only character in the game that can get around that is Peach, but not if you get caught by a flame slash like that. The heal coming out, there's only one left for Sola, and that's a good thing for him because no heals mean he's got a better shot at getting his better spells come out.
For sure. The playing the RNG and playing the menu is something that I feel like Sola does extremely well because they compartmentalize the spells in their head of what each one can do. And luckily against Peach, most spells say, hey, this hits my opponent and sends them pretty far away. It's a pretty solid keep out spell. And if you're like, if 20 of the 24 spells say keep out, you're doing a pretty good job of walling Peach out most of the time just by pressing menu. Surprisingly enough, this one doesn't have anything. But you're able to pivot into an oomph, into a big buff instead, and turn your forward tilt, instead of just a normal keep out option, it closes out stocks instead.
And beautiful job by Sola there. He found an early lead and then maintained it with as good of a stage as FD is for Peach. As you mentioned, right, normally it would get banned against this character, but instead, Sola says, I'm going to take you here, and I'm going to beat you here. And for Jukain, especially again against this character he doesn't like that much, might be a little nerve-wracking. But here, getting right into game 2 here on Hollow Bastion, and what do you think what type of adjustments do you think we're gonna see from Jukain?
I think Jukain has acknowledged just how good Hero is at catching approaches straight on and catching those little mix-ups just by doing things like run-up jab or instant snooze. You're not going to get the crit, didn't hit the crit input, but the applicability is still there. So Jukain has to mix it up. And if you got to mix up your timings, having this all-access platform is going to do a pretty good job of doing that. Uh-oh.
That being said, Magic Burst, even though it took the stock, right, Jukain was already at kill percent, and now Sola has no MP left. He's gonna get these back just by scrapping, but it's gonna take a little while, right? Even though he's got a couple hits, he only has 50 now, and has to immediately use that on a side B. He's playing with limited resources here now, probably for the rest of this stock, UDL.
You would say, like, yes, that's correct. in terms of raw numbers, but honestly, Hero is never often at full mana. You're almost always sitting at around 50 to 30 because you have access to all your spells there. And why stop using menu when you can use all of your spells in that sweet spot range, finding hits, and even hits on shield replenish that MP little by little on top of the 1 per second. So Sola's doing an excellent job, I feel, managing that resource and turning everything into little inches and by inches. You drop the stock there thanks to a well-placed up air from Jukain, but instantly you pull up mana.
There,
oh yeah, he had to, right? Like Jukain is suffering a lot of times on stage and getting stuck on the platform there to a up smash from Sola. But if Jukain doesn't press their advantage, Sola's neutral just by nature of standing there and waiting for Jukain to do something has been near impenetrable.
And one of the things that Jukain's done this game is he's really moved away from pulling turnips very much in this second game. He did it a lot more in game 1, but game 2, I think he's kind of gotten a little antsy about the bounce. We're seeing him pull one advantage. Unfortunate from Sola, just a little bit of an unforced error. An SD coming out, and that might just be the opening Jukain needs. But again, Jukain has to find these openings. As you were saying, he's managing to find one here, and this is a lot of percent, UBL.
Yeah, founding a big down tilt combo and completing it. Not getting too fancy. The footstool out of shield as well. Jukain finding some blind spots in the zone that Sola had been presenting. Gets the down smash 2-frame. Forces a big burst of mana, forcing a ledge situation. But the calmness, and look at that sweet spot. Just like ever so slightly below full hop, but but well above short hop as well. Getting huge damage, but the air dodge. No, Jukain.
He was trying to air dodge, it looked like, away and then into the tornado, maybe, was the one thing I can think of. It was either a misinput or maybe he was trying to air dodge into the tornado because he knew he was too low to recover otherwise. But it looked a little bit more like a misinput based on the way that he never even drifted in to begin with.
Yeah, just reacting to the spell that had come out. You saw the sizzle and the tornado was way too late to come out to be reacting to something like that. Both players were confirming if it was a best to 5 here in top 3, but based on the number of entrants, I believe best of 5 is only going to be grand finals. So Jukain's got to make it through just one more set depending on the winner of our very next one, which will be Haze and Sky up to bat.
And Jukain definitely started to make some adjustments there, right? That one unforced error from Sola almost cost him that second game. So yeah, Jukain, and at the end there, Jukain did a really good job. He realized that, hey, I can use turnip and I can use my movement to start to bait out some of these options from Sola. And the thing with Hero is, as you were saying, Hero has a billion options, but a lot of them have end lag. A lot of them have a decent amount of end lag. And so you can bait them out even from a mid-range and then just come in with a forwarder, come in with a punish, and abuse the movement mix-ups with Peach in terms of her falling aerial height due to float, and abuse turnip to get in unless there's bounce, in case you can't use turnip anymore, but you can still do those movement mix-ups. We saw it happen with the float over the side B into the fair there and a couple other times throughout the set, but really good stuff from Jukain, and I'm really excited to see what he does in losers finals.
Yeah, losers finals.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the bracket. I think they inputted it backwards because I see Jukain is listed the winner's side over Sola, but that doesn't.
Let me just do some privilege and just let me fix that for Lewis. So don't mind me. Just change it. Oh, okay, it was changed.
Okay, I was gonna say UBL showing all of the power here. Between
we're good.
As we wait for Haze vs Sky and loser semis. That's Diddy versus either Aegis or Joker. Who do you